rhino situation in Africa at the moment, I think, is in dire straits. These animals have been poached to the verge of extinction, and it's Africa-wide. It's not just, yes, South Africa has been targeted mainly, but all over Africa we're facing the same challenges with rhino poaching, and the demand at the moment seems to be growing. And the value of the horn, it's got such high value at the moment that it's, to get on top of it at the moment, just being small operators as we are, we're doing all we can to protect and preserve these animals, but it's got to happen from the top, and I believe that's the only way we're going to have an impact on protecting these animals. So the current situation is pretty frightening, and I think the rate, we're losing 3 rhino a day is the current statistic. So you look at that fact, and they reckon by 2020 there's not going to be a rhino left roaming in the wild. So that's in our generation, and it's our responsibility to try and resolve this. And yes, we're doing what we can here in Zim at the moment, but it's got to happen. It's got to happen outside to where the horn's getting shipped to, and China seems to be the biggest market at the moment. And I think if we can hit it there as hard as we can through education, through awareness campaigning, through government-to-government negotiations, I believe we can really have an impact on the poaching at the moment. And there's been a lot of talk on what's going on with rhino poaching and how to stop it, and we're not seeing results. So I think there's got to be a serious effort from first world countries to get involved in this if they want their children to see a rhino where they naturally belong. So to answer your question, the state is critical. We're in a seriously dangerous, fragile predicament at the moment to protect these species.
Out of here! Let's go! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Imire Rhino and Wildlife Conservation it's been operating since the 50s. My grandfather started it, and we were fortunate enough to become custodians of 7 orphan black rhino in 1987. And those were the last remaining orphans that came out of the Zambezi Valley, where thousands of black rhino used to roam. And in a short space of time, they were decimated to nothing. So we've been fortunate in having these animals for an extended period of time, and we've had a fantastic history in protecting these animals. And we've learnt through hardships, we've learned through losses, and it's through those difficult times that we've had to really analyze where we're going and what we're doing with the guys on the ground that we have. And I believe, over this period, we've managed to mold a team together it's a family, actually. We're all one family, and we're all protecting this flagship species, a rhino. And to protect them, you need a team who's committed, a team who's dedicated, a team who believes in what they're doing, who actually is passionate about conservation, passionate about protecting wildlife. And I think if you have those key aspects covered, a team, a real team who will take a bullet for each other. You have a team who are committed. They will throw everything they have to protecting these animals. It makes life so much easier, and that's what we have at Imire. So it's a full-on operation, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're protecting these animals, and we've had losses of animal, and we've had losses of human through working with these animals and trying to protect them. So it's been really, really difficult. but I believe we've got one of the finest teams on the ground. They're committed, they're dedicated, they're passionate. And with that, I believe we can make a difference to protecting these animals. And so that makes my job really easy, in the fact that I've got a team that I can trust 100%, to put their life on the line and to protect them. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go on the tender! Go on the tender! Yes! Go! Let's go! Let's go!
What is that?
Nice.
3 minutes, 2 seconds.
All right, guys.
Nice.
Good movement. Nice one.
Teamwork. It's like we'll be saying, working together as a team. We have to be always together. Whatever we do in our job, we have to work together. That's why we are doing this training, encouraging each other, motivating ourselves as well. Yeah.
The big picture, I believe, is linking wildlife and community. Community that surrounds wildlife areas, I think, is a massive importance in the protection of wildlife in Africa. Not only rhino, but wildlife in general. And I think they've got to understand the value of that animal. If you can get them to see the value in the animal that you are protecting or looking after within your conservancy, all the animals for that matter, and they are gaining, they have, when I say value, through employment, through educational programs, through community outreach projects that you're running, through microfinancing little projects that you can do. I think that is number one for me. I've seen it on Imire. I've seen how working with the community has made the world a difference to protecting the wildlife on Imire. And I believe that's purely through the work that we do outside the park. My job, I could quite honestly say 50% is working within the conservancy and 50% is outside working out of the conservancy, dealing with community. And I think you can see the difference. I mean, I've had rhino breaking out of this area, going 60 kilometers out of Imire. And I'm getting phone calls from community to say, your rhino here, come and pick them up. I mean, that's unheard of in Africa. This might seem minute, but if you look at the big picture, it's massive. I had an impala, just a small little impala, getting out of the property, okay? That impala, there was a whole lot of kids who started chasing that impala. The village heads stopped them chasing that impala, and they caught that impala. Obviously it got exhausted, and they caught it and they brought it back without us even being around. And they phoned us and said, we've caught one of your impala, can we bring it back into your property? Now, to me, that tells me a story. They see the value in these animals. So I think showing value, communities seeing value in the wildlife is a massive importance in protecting wildlife. I think education is another key one to protecting. I think we've got to start from grassroots level and work our way up and educating people about the importance of protecting our habitat, conserving the wildlife, and environment. And I think we've got to really push it. I think education in first world countries, in third world countries, it's got to be part of the curriculum to protecting wildlife and educating people part of wildlife. And I really believe governments need to get involved and put it part of the curriculum. You know, it's our generation who are going to lose these species. And if we're prepared to watch that, I'm not prepared on my clock to watch that. I want to make the biggest difference I can to wildlife and to protecting it. And I think it's our generation who has to stand up and make a difference in this world. And I think education is the other factor to do that.
Go. How many? 21. 21 seconds.
Fire! Advance! Enemy to the front! Fire! Advance! Enemy to the front! Fire! Weapons! Enemy to the front! Fight! Guys, how was that? Good. Charles, I liked your command. You were strong, you were loud in your command. To Tender, I liked your aggression. Guys, let's just go and have a look at the shooting, see how you did. But to me, that looked 100%. Well done.
Imire's had in the past, had a lot of successes with rhino. You know, we were one of the, if not the first intensive black rhino breeding program in Africa. And I think that was, in its own, an incredible feat. And that hands down goes to my grandfather who initiated that breeding program. And the rhino were reintroduced back into the wild and from there bred up and did incredibly well. And then, yeah, things slowed down just through challenging times that we had here at Imire. But recently we've got back on track. Our program is really moving. And we've had the these 2 new births, and for us that's what we work for. You know, that's what makes me get up almost for every morning and go to work. It drives me, and it drives everybody here. You know, watching these animals, you know, breed and produce young, and watching these youngsters. So it's massive for us. It's what we're about. It's what Imire is. It's a black rhino breeding program, and our goal is to release rhino back into the wild where they naturally belong. And my mission in my time is to release them back into the Zambezi Valley, where thousands used to roam. And I will do that. It will happen. And once now that the program has got momentum and we're producing rhino, and from now on we'll be producing a calf a year. And I believe if we can control the poaching situation in Africa and in Zimbabwe, I think we'll be in a position to release these animals back into the Zambezi Valley. The strain that we have of the black rhino is a very unique strain, and it's the Zambezi Valley strain. So that's where they belong, and that's where we're definitely going to look to put them back in the future. So Imire at the moment is moving forward. It's taking big steps forward in rhino production. We've just initiated a stage 2 release site for our offspring. And that's going to be a completely hands-off operation where they're going to be completely weaned of interaction from humans, and they're going to breed there naturally. And from there, you know, that's going to buy us between 5 or 7 years for these animals to mature and to breed. And then from there, you know, we can take that progeny and move them where we can, where it's safe at that in the future. So I believe we're in a really fantastic, exciting phase. In number one, the production of rhino. Touch wood, you know, we haven't lost a rhino since 2007. So, you know, I think we're doing pretty well on that front, and let's hope that we continue to do that. And yeah, I think with the initiation of this program, big things are to come. I really believe that, and Imire will continue to focus to make a difference to rhino conservation in Zimbabwe and in Africa.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we need the connection from SQ.
We'll be there now. Just to put forward what I believe the team that we have here, the training that these guys go through is, it's a simple technique, but it's a technique that's effective, it's reliable, and it's efficient. It works, and that is, you know, it's working as a team. It's being mentally prepared at all times, physically prepared at all times, and well trained. And to train the guys to a level to protect a rhino, they've got to be well trained. They've got to be able to defend the rhino and themselves at any given point in time. And I believe our guys are at that level. And they've proved time and again that they're capable of doing that. And in saying that, you know, one of the few areas I think in Africa who can turn around and say we have, you know, it's been over a decade since we lost a rhino, and that tells me a story that the guys on the ground are pretty effective at what they're doing, and they're committed. They're really committed to protecting these animals, and they'll put their life on the line. And I think that's
if you've got a team on the ground who are prepared to do that, you can win anything.